Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Kelsey Huber, and I am an 8th grade English teacher here at Indiana Digital Learning School. Today, I am going to be talking with you about two different types of formative assessments that we, the staff, need to choose between in order to begin using for next school year. So the state had narrowed it down to a few different ones, and now I've been given the task to narrow it down to even fewer choices for you, and you all are going to join together with me in deciding the number one formative assessment tool that we want to begin using here at our school for the next school year. So we're going to be talking about which test is best, all right? And like I said, I have narrowed it down to just two choices for us. So we need to be thinking about the iReady test, which was created by Curriculum Associates, and the NWEA MAP Growth Assessment. Both of these are great choices for our school. And as we are going through this today, I really want you to be taking some notes to help decide which test you think is best for our students, okay? We will be sending a survey out to everyone at the conclusion of this meeting just to kind of see what your guys' thoughts are, concerns, any type of feedback at all, and then ultimately we want you to just decide between one of these two. So which one do you think will work best for our school? Some things that I want you to consider as we are going through the components of each of these is, first of all, what are we looking for in a formative assessment here at INDLS? First off, we know that, data drives instruction. So that is really number one here behind these assessments. Ensuring that it is giving us purposeful data, that we are able to use that, to figure out the next steps in our teaching. It should be really student and teacher friendly, right? Being an online school here, we want our students to be able to access these assessments very easily. We don't want them to get confused or frustrated. It should be very, very seamless. We should also consider maybe we want some additional resources to be matched to our student needs. Wouldn't it be nice to have an online testing assessment program that we could be getting some additional teaching resources from there as well? And then the last thing, we need to think about what content areas are we really concerned about that we really feel the need to assess. Is our number one priority going to remain math and English, or are we going to maybe branch out a little bit into science as well? That is something to consider. And then lastly, do we want to have a test that is given, the same platform is used for all grade levels? So, our school, we do have K through 12, but obviously we are separated: elementary, middle school, high school. So we need to consider, do we all want the same test, or do we maybe think that it would be best for each level to have perhaps a different testing platform? So the first test that I have given 2 thumbs up to is the iReady assessment. And this is a single testing system that gives teachers the tools they need to ensure students are able to succeed. A quote from their website says, "Teacher is at the center of learning." And to us here at our school, being virtual, that is so, so important that the students don't forget, you still have a teacher, right? We are still there with them every step of the way. So the fact that iReady puts a huge emphasis on the fact that the teacher is at the center of their learning, that really spoke volumes to me, and I thought that it would to all of you as well. So this iReady system includes three different levels. First up is the diagnostic assessment, which is used to pinpoint math and reading skills. And I am going to go over each of these more in depth here in just a moment. We then have the standards mastery assessment that includes multiple forms assessing grade level content. And then lastly, this program also includes growth monitoring through online customized instruction. So I wanted to take a moment to check out a video provided by Curriculum Associates, kind of just giving a really brief overview of their test.
At Curriculum Associates, we believe in making classrooms better places for teachers and students, and leading the way is iReady. It's easy to see the value that iReady brings to a classroom. iReady provides actionable, intuitive data about all of your students. iReady figures out where students are with their math and reading skills and then assigns instruction to help support students with their growth. iReady reveals with reliable accuracy where students are strongest and where they need the most support domain by domain. Automatically clusters students into small groups with shared needs for more targeted instruction, and informs instruction by pointing educators towards resources, both print and digital lessons. Plus, iReady monitors students' online usage and passing rates on their digital lessons, so you're better able to figure out how they are doing and what you can do to help. Think of all the time iReady gives you back, time to do everything else. Assessment, instruction, outstanding teacher support. There's a lot to iReady, so let's explore and learn more together.
Alright, so the first component of the iReady test is the Adaptive Diagnostic Assessment, and this is going to be given at the very beginning of the year. This is, obviously adaptive, so if a student is struggling, the questions are going to get easier, and if they're just simply breezing through it, it's going to become more challenging. This is just going to allow us to really gauge where our individual students are right from the beginning of the school year. We can see exactly what their individual students need, and then that online instruction can be created as well. The second component of iReady is that they actually have customized instruction for our students. And so this is going to be personalized based upon their diagnostic results. So, if a student, wasn't doing very well with comparing two texts, well, it is going to give them instruction and more online lessons over that student can complete until they have mastered that standard. It's going to allow us to, give them a simple tool for support and enrichment, and it is absolutely going to allow for some differentiation. As you saw in the video, we would be able to create small groups. We could have them working independently on this. We could have a station with being teacher-led. It is just, everybody, you can have one student working on their standard that they really need to focus on. Your small group could be focusing on a separate standard, and then a teacher-led, could be leading half of the class on another standard. So it just really allows for a lot of differentiation, which is wonderful. Another component of iReady is that they offer Standards Mastery Assessment, and this is going to measure specific grade level standards, okay? And it is going to allow us to identify when we need to reteach a standard. So let's say, for example, I have just finished teaching the Diary of Anne Frank, and I want to assess the standard focusing on using support and evidence from a text, okay? I can go in and I can assign this Standards Mastery Assessment to my entire class. I can then, and these are short assessments, we're talking it could be completed in around 15 to 20 minutes tops, and this assessment is going to allow me to see, have my students mastered this assessment? Can we move on? Okay, and then if not, it is going to pair up some more instructional resources that I can use to reteach that specific standard. So it's really, really nice, to help us go through and let's start marking off those standards. Which ones have we mastered? Which ones do we need to go back and reinforce and reteach? Some advantages and disadvantages to the iReady program that I found. I really like, first of all, that we can reach students at all levels. With it being an adaptive test, this is just like how our state test is, and we can really aim to see how each student is doing. It doesn't matter if they're below grade level, at, or above. It is going to adapt to their individual learning style. It also allows us to have individualized instruction. Okay, and obviously we are all about doing that here. We want those students to be working on content that they personally need. Another great thing, it is truly accessible from anywhere, any type of computer, any type of browser, online, at home, in school. They can access it from anywhere. They can just simply log on. Once you have given them their username and password, students can easily get in, complete their assignment, complete their diagnostic or their standards mastery assessment, and they could even do it without the aid of a teacher as well. Another advantage is that it does give us really, really quick results, which we all really want, right? And then those additional teacher resources through the online practice instruction that it is giving to teachers to use whenever they need to. A disadvantage that I did find is that it does only assess math and reading. So if we are wanting to assess science or language usage, this isn't really going to be able to assess that. And then I apologize, I have a typo here. Students may get burnt out with this program. If they're using this in both math and reading, I did feel that, if both teachers are utilizing this the way it's supposed to, I could maybe see that the students might get a little burnt out with completing iReady both in reading and math every single week, because that is really the goal with this. You would not just be using it for that summative assessment at the beginning and end of the school year. You would be utilizing this program throughout the entire school year with those standards mastery assessments and also that online practice as well. So there's definitely a lot to consider with the iReady program. It seems really, really seamless. They seem to kind of have their kinks worked out by now. And I think my favorite thing is just those extra resources available to both the students and the teachers that we can be using until they master that content. So, and I know that was really quick, but does anybody have any questions about the standards mastery assessment? If you have a question, you can always email me as well, or put it in that survey once you get that in your email later on today. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the second assessment that we need to be considering, and that is the NWEA MAP Growth Assessment. This assessment is going to measure what students know and what they are ready for next. Just like iReady, it is also adaptive, and it is going to give students that personalized assessment that they really need to have. This assessment is going to measure fall to spring growth. Typically, it is just taken the formative assessment, the big test for this is given 3 times a year, the beginning, middle, and end of the school year. Some schools do a summer test, but very few. And so they are really gauging, student growth from beginning, middle, to end of the school year. So I have a short video for NWEA MAP growth test, just to give us a quick little overview as well.
One of the great features of the MAP test is it's an adaptive test. Students are measured where they are in terms of their instructional level, as opposed to getting a number or percent correct on a grade-specific test.
It's effective because the teachers can see where they need to go with individual students, and they can see the progress over time.
We believe it's helped us move from beyond differentiation to truly personalizing learning.
One
thing that is different between the iReady and the MAP growth test is that the MAP growth actually measures more. So it measures math, science, language usage, and reading. So it's adding in those two other subject areas for students and measuring their growth throughout the entire school year. It also, the MAP Growth Program is going to give teachers a clear snapshot of what the students really need help with. So they have a program called the Learning Continuum. After they have taken that growth test, teachers will be provided with a report of skills telling the teachers whether they need to reinforce a specific standard, develop a standard, or introduce. So, have they mastered it? If so, we just need to reinforce and make sure. Maybe they've kind of almost got it. They're about halfway, then we need to further develop it. And then if they just completely, didn't failed it, then obviously it's clear we need to go back to the basics of that standard and actually introduce it. So that is really nice, the report that it gives. And I saw a video, it's very easy for the student or the teachers to go in and access that and see exactly where each student is individually. It also breaks it up by class as well. Um, so some of the advantages and disadvantages of this test. Obviously, it's really great that it covers more subject areas. It is, of course, going to give us that individualized instruction. It also provides students and teachers with realistic learning goals. So, after they take that test, if there's an area that a student didn't do very well in, it is going to give them a learning goal to reach by the time they take that next test. Just as iReady, it is accessible from anywhere, and it also gives very quick results. A few disadvantages that I found, I couldn't really seem to find much practice that the MAP growth was providing teachers with in order to give the students. So those extra resources, and there were not any of those standards mastery assessments. And so that was or a couple of the disadvantages that I did find. Obviously, with us being online, I think both of these tests would work really, really well for us. They can be taken anytime, anywhere, and we can still, have differentiation with both of these tests, even in the online world. We could have breakout rooms, and we could have students working individually. We could have whole class instruction still over those standards that need some extra attention. We can set the testing windows for both tests, allowing only a set time frame for those students to test. You could also, have them, if you wanted them to take that test during class time, you could do it. But if you wanted them to do it on their own time, that is possible too. And both of these tests had something crazy, like it was, I think, over 50 to 75,000 different questions. So I don't really see cheating as something that we would have to be worried about, especially considering both of these tests, it's doing things like giving them a reading passage and then they have to go through and highlight it. That was another thing I liked about it, that the questions for both of these tests are very closely aligned to the state test. So it is truly, both of them are truly comparing, or they are both very, very comparable to the iLearn that our middle school students will be taking in the spring. The data and results can be accessed remotely by both students and teachers. Parents can get logged into their students' account at all times and see how they're doing, see how they've done on the diagnostic test, on the standards mastery, on any of those online lessons as well. So in conclusion, my personal recommendation, I really, really like what iReady has to offer for us. I like that customized instruction that students receive after taking that initial diagnostic test.
Research, they've done a lot of research and they have proven results from when students work for at least 45 minutes a week in this program. I really like those standards mastery assessments. I feel like that is something that I, as an English teacher, have been looking for. And, it's already created for us. How nice. So that is all I have for you today. As I mentioned before, I really, really want you guys to consider this. Please, make any final notes that you feel is necessary to help you make a decision as to which choice you think is best. Which test is best for our school, for our students, for our teachers here at INDLS. And that's all I have for you today. I hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I can't wait to see what you guys think. Will it be the NWEA map growth or will it be the iReady? We will find out soon enough. Have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for your time.